I'm Luke Manson, and this is the Kiwistyle podcast. Here I talk to my friends in the New Zealand hardcore and metal scene about what they've been up to and what they're gonna get up to. I'm the singer of the band Xile, and I've been playing in New Zealand hardcore bands non-stop for the last 18 years. And in that time, I've made a lot of good friends, and right here is where I'm going to share those stories on the Kiwistyle podcast. Today I've got part 2 of Amanaki. Sat down with Jared and Ethan. We talked about their new EP, Embers, which comes out on July 19th, which is tomorrow. Check that out. We expand a little bit on the writing process and what these guys have been up to. If you're watching this video, you're going to notice we're going to start to turn orange. And the reason for that is I set all my cameras to manual white balance. I'd watched too many YouTube videos on how to make a good podcast and didn't realize that you needed studio lighting for that. So as the sun come down as we were talking and the sun set, it switched over to the overhead lights and it turned us orange. So pretty funny. If you listen on audio, you might even want to just watch for that. So a couple things to learn around here about lighting right now. I am recording this with the 8 a.m. sun shining directly into my eyes. So that's neither here nor there. Part 2, Amanaki podcast. Let's go. Isn't it crazy that you could listen to music for pretty much the whole of your life here in New Zealand and not see a single band in real life?
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. That's why it's I got to go to 3 of the Unify festivals in Australia when they happen, because then it's got to see a bunch of bands that most of them have not come to New Zealand or wouldn't probably. And yeah, it's tricky living in New Zealand. And I mean, back in the day, more bands came through, some of the shows you went to back in the day when I was still not 18. Old, those grey sailorways, mate. Yeah, so it can be tricky. I mean, I see all the time Australian tours get announced and there's always the same comments of, where's the New Zealand show? And it's it's not going to happen. Sorry, guys.
Dude, bands can go to Australia twice in a year. Kublai Khan can go twice.
Drain did that. Drain, I think they went with Comeback Kid at the start of one year. I think it was last year. January they toured with Comeback Kid, and then they went back in November, December, did their own headline tour in Australia. Yeah. It was nuts.
Dude, and then not come to New Zealand twice. I mean, when was the last international? There was Sick of It All, but before that, the last international was Knock Loose in the start of 2020 before COVID.
Jeez.
So current trending bands have been here. If that was January 2020, so that's over 4 years since anyone's come to New Zealand.
Right, and Knock Loose played at Neck of the Woods, and now look at them.
That's
so
a good
wild,
point.
eh?
That's a
so
good point.
Wild. Yeah.
I reckon that directly affects the scene. So if you're not older like we have, and seen those bands before, or seen that kind of thing happen before, kind of seeing all the stuff happen and watching it happen on the internet and being why isn't it happening here? Or turn up, it's going to be awesome if you want to come here for a good time or whatever. But you can see why bands that are career bands that are needing to earn that money when they come here, because people always think breaking even will be enough, but breaking even actually is not. You need to be earning money. Breaking even, it's covering your flights and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you've got 5 people who need to cover maybe rent at home, and 5 people need to eat.
Yeah,
and you got five big boys eating a couple $100 worth of food a day. So there's so many different stages of breaking even on touring.
Yeah.
And
it just comes down to a business decision, eh? At that point. It's And
it's kind of sucks to think like that too, where you're man, I guess we're missing out purely based on that, not a lack of passion or a lack of want. You're just missing out on financials.
I mean, we say Australia gets these shows, but then you've still got Perth that misses out on most stuff as well, us. So
true.
Yeah, because that's the cost to get to Perth is nuts.
The old come to Perth is about as common as the come to Brazil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I remember the gigs out in Xile West, bro. Back in the day, I saw some crazy bands come over and play on that stage that's half a meter tall,
Yeah.
And they would just be in your face kind of thing, or the backroom shows.
Yeah, my favourite memory still is when Gideon came here with Saving Grace and played the art room.
Yeah.
I did not know that happened.
Yeah, they played. It was 2014, 2015? Declination AD opened as well. And yeah, it was that's still one of my favourite moments, is because I think Gideon had put out Milestones, It was like they only put 2 albums
Way
out.
back in the day.
Way back in the day, they still had a name themselves, but not as big as they are now.
Yeah.
And it was like they played in the small art room, and there was me as like with my emo haircut, just going nuts because I'm like, this is getting like right in front of my face, and it's like also try avoid the pit because it's a small room as well. So
I ended up on crutches after that show. That was mean.
No way.
Good times. Yeah, did the old like. I think just in the mosh pit, like someone stood on my ankle, like as it was like moving around, and then, but I think it happened earlier on in the night, and I really wanted to see get in, so I was just like, nah, it's fine.
I was wondering why
then,
I stepped on someone's foot.
Yeah, flipping. Oh, was it you? Jeez. No. And I like got home, but all my family was away on holiday, and it was just me at home, and I went to bed thinking like, oh, this is pretty sore, but it'll be all right. Woke up in the morning, my whole foot was purple, and I was like, oh man, this is so bad. And then like called up my best mate, he had to come like flipping carry me down the stairs. Like it was funny as. Yeah, good times.
Dude. Buzzy, you say that about like the people being like right in front of you, because all the big bands, they get so used to like playing on stages with like security and then a barrier, and then for like someone to be like right in front of you, it's pretty loose.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, that's what is kind of set when bands do come to New Zealand, is that you see them playing big festivals or in like Europe or America, and then they come here and it's like these small intimate shows for us, so it's actually like pretty sick when it does happen for us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you get to see a lot more. If they do turn up, you get to see a lot more of them. Yeah, and up close. And yeah, I can't think of anywhere it's got a barrier. The only place that you're really away from people was kind of like King's Arms, because they're a really high stage, right?
Yeah,
and they were like still like up on the pedestal. But if you're talking about Whammy and everything, they're just like right there. How do you guys get on being like a long standing band?
We've actually got like funny reason why I think it works for so long for us. I'd played in bands for years before this where we practiced every single week.
Yeah.
And I felt like those bands burnt out because we played the same songs every single week practicing, and like it just turns into this like mundane kind of, like it can get that way,
100%.
And both for us, because we've got Jethro and April live in Hamilton, we're in Auckland, we pretty much just have this like giant trust system that basically we just trust that everyone's practicing individually and we just come together and play a show, and it's worked every time.
True. So you don't even have any practices before the shows?
No. We have like maybe 1 or 2 practices a year.
Yeah, like in the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Pretty much just if we're chucking new songs in, like we'll jam them.
Yeah.
And typically we play it through and we're like, oh yeah, cool, that worked.
Cool. Shall we go grab lunch now?
Yeah. We'll spend more time flipping having ice cream than we will having a practice. But
if you got people that you can count on,
yeah,
and that is going to practice, then all good. But we don't have those kind of people. You need to put them in a room. Everyone needs to be like, we're going to do this now.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's quite cool as well because we, as a band, like all knew each other in the scene before Amanaki kind of actually started up. Like, Jared was in Leaders 4th, and then April and Jeff were playing in Patriot. And when those bands were kind of finishing up as well, it's like that's when just Amanaki came out, and it was just kind of cool that we already knew each other and got along well on the scene, and it just like made sense to be a band, and that's why I feel why we've just carried on well, because we just always have a good time when we hang out, and so it's always laughs, good laughs.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think that you guys have carried on from like the faith-based heavy music scene that you like kind of started, and that's kind of like, back in the day there used to be, everyone had their kind of like corner.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Funnily enough, I was in the anti-faith-based scene.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was really on the opposite end of it.
Yeah.
But now everyone is like in the melting pot of like the same kind of space, and like you guys would be the only ones really from there, and like those bands that played in those scenes. The only other people I can think of is maybe Take Hold bleeds into a bit of that ride, and you got like Chasing South and stuff.
Definitely.
So
Chasing South,
being part of like that little edge that I'm really not part of. Yeah. What have you taken away or with you from that?
That's a really good question.
That was a really good question, and maybe I'll just take it.
Because it's also interesting for me, because it's something I don't know.
Yeah. like definitely it was it's a scene that was a lot bigger. There was a lot of bands, like looking back at like East of Eden days and stuff like that. And now obviously like, that faith corner or faith-based corner of the heavy scene is a lot smaller. But I think we've always written our songs that it can be approached from a faith side and also from a non-faith side. And I think that's just a way that we've gone about like still being true to ourselves, but without limiting ourselves to that corner.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Because definitely it was like, back in the day was the whole like preacher core type thing, you know, like For Today and stuff like that back in the day. So it's definitely like nowadays that kind of thing just probably wouldn't catch on that well. So I feel like as Jared said, that's how we write our songs, because then everyone can take it in how they want to, not limited.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I remember, this is going to be funny because I'm obviously friends with them now, but I remember like seeing Saving Grace back in the day, and then between some songs it'd be like, you know, you need to turn over to the Lord, blah blah blah, and I might have even yelled like "fuck up" from the crowd, dude. You know what I mean? Even though I was like, I liked the music, it was heavy music, and I was moshing to that, but every time I hear that, I'd be like, this is too much. But one thing I always buzzed out at is how did the heavy music and hardcore get so big in the Christian scene back in the day?
Yeah.
And how did it also get accepted by the other people in the church as something that you wanted, that a whole lot of people wanted to do? Because I always thought that it was kind of conflicting with, not with the message, because I was actually never a message-based person in hardcore. Probably quite why I lean more to the metal side. But with the music, I always thought that because the Christian community was they were so into it, and you guys could use all those spaces for free, and you could use all the venues, and everyone would help out and with gear and stuff. But behind all those people that own the venues were also adults, and I thought that those adults would be against the heavy music.
Bro, there is definitely a lot of people behind the scenes are fairly anti it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Like definitely, growing up in the church, there was a lot of pushback on like that style of music. It might just be what churches I was involved in, and like the churches around me, but some churches were really like pro letting people use the space for shows, like definitely like the Eastgate shows.
Back in the day,
heaps of shows out there that were they were flipping sick. But there's definitely a lot of pushback on some of that stuff as well.
So when you tried to organize something with someone you didn't know and you told them what it was for, they were like, purely based on that.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things with like the New Zealand scene being smaller, like the chances of it being a show where they're all like faith-based bands versus having like a mixed lineup, and so that can always be like the tricky one if it's going to be in a church building and then they want it to all be Christian bands, but what's the chances that you're going to have a full Christian lineup, you know? And that's been one of the big things for us, is just not limiting ourselves to only playing with Christian bands. Like we love playing with like every band, you know, like we've played with like flipping all sorts of genres. Like we love to like mix it up.
Who are the bands that are the Christian bands currently?
I guess like what comes to mind is Chasing South, End of an Empire, from down in Wellington.
Old Sam.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Any other ideas? I can think of one, but I don't know if they exist anymore. But
Saving Grace, obviously.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. There was Enoch.
Yeah,
that was the one. I don't know if you remember them.
I've only ever heard the name, and then whenever someone says it, they say "Enoch you out." Gee. That's the only time I've heard that name. But I don't want to get in trouble for not hearing about bands. Last time I hadn't seen I hadn't seen a band from Wellington. I hadn't seen Happy Valley.
Oh, true.
And then next
true.
minute, the singer's taking the piss out of me on the
yeah,
good cut, all good.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think
chat.
Enoch's been around for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're up to. Yeah.
And then that scene's like completely gone too.
Yeah.
All the kind of older guys that like played in those bands back in the day, not really. They just have a family now.
It was like every man for himself too, wasn't it?
True. Yeah.
Because back in the day, you had Addison as well.
Pardon the interruption. We've actually posted up a live set of Amanaki playing at Galatos supporting Sick of It All up on the Judgment Day Productions YouTube channel. Judgment Day Productions is a YouTube channel run by Matt Livingstone from Antagonist AD and myself. We post up New Zealand hardcore and metal bands with desk audio and multicam live sets. Amanaki actually played 2 of their new singles from their EP Embers, and you can check that out in the link below. Back to the pod. Something that I'm like kind of like big on is like people like not repeating the same mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
And then like turning up and being like mid-30s and being like, oh fuck, I wish I did this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only response to that is like leave New Zealand. That's the only response, is to like pick a city, like New York, LA, Berlin, London, and just go move there. Like fuck the rest of your band.
I'm not coming back after you. I'm sorry, man. I'm joining the Scottish slam scene.
True.
I think it's the only way to get ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the big things, we were kind of yarning about it before, as a band, is just like knowing how to set your stuff up. Like, it's one thing, like if you just always practice in the same garage and your gear's always just set up the same way, like know how to set it up if you're showing up to whatever venue, and then it's like a thing of just being able to do that fast, because people get sick of like the changeovers that just take so long, like it shouldn't be that hard to like get your stuff on and off.
The attitude has changed with shows. See, it was like 6-band shows, and then now it's just like someone posts a 3-band show, and you're like, yes, I'm going to that.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's something I judge bands off, like how quickly they get on and off stage.
Yeah.
Which I maybe no one else does the same, but.
I think it's when you go past a certain time, then you definitely
yeah, bro. Yeah. Bro, have you been at a depth show where they got to swap the whole drum kit? That's a good time, mate. That's a good time.
Sean Anderson. He's got his custom.
I mean, it's worth it. The kit sounds flipping mean.
It's worth it just to watch him drum. One thing that I took away from, that we haven't done since actually, but we took away from that Europe tour, was that people would have their cymbals already on stands, waiting to go. So if you shared the drum kit, all good, but you just pick up that stand with that cymbal and it just goes off stage. So we only ever did that once at you guys played at the Big Fan show right after our Europe show. I made everyone bring their drum stands and set up their cymbals, and then everyone just took it off stage, and then that was just like one little thing. So there goes an example of one little thing that you can do.
Definitely.
But obviously space permitting, like if you don't have a back room, like if you're at Whammy Bar, and you're gonna set up your cymbals on the toilet. Or Valhalla, like there's nowhere to set up your cymbals in Valhalla. Yeah, to take away from that, if you know where you're going to be, and then you can try and think of one little thing that you could do. So maybe that could be advices that you take away, like one little thing that you could do to make your setup easier, whether it's like a pedal board where all your pedals are attached and it's got one power supply, or... Everyone's doing a pretty good job though. Like I brought up like No Reason, and you've got like Dark Tide, and all these like new bands that are coming in are doing a pretty decent job of making music. Cease and Desist, killing it.
That was sick. We played a show with them like a month ago, and we did a Rage Against the Machine cover at the end, and the three of them jumped up and just grabbed all the mics and just like went for it, and I was like, sweet, cool, got the song off, and it was mean. They
did the drummer get up on stage and do like an epic pit call?
Yeah.
What a legend.
It was so funny because when they all jumped up, I was facing Jethro, and so like I didn't even notice that they'd jumped up and the energy of it all, and then I just hear on the mics them flipping pit calling the heck out of it, and it's still just the intro of the song,
Really?
Yeah.
I tell you who I haven't caught yet, but I've watched a couple of their live sets on the Instagram live reels. Is that band Heavy Step.
Yeah.
They'd be playing like every weekend. Have you seen them play?
No, I haven't caught them yet, but they look pretty good.
Yeah, they must have played like 5 shows in 5 weeks.
Yeah,
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smashing it.
So there's plenty of new stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, Carthage is another young band. They also finally got to see them because they played the last Happy Valley Auckland show, and Carthage, they were nuts for a young band. So they're another one to watch out for.
Yeah.
Getting out of New Zealand, where would you guys go to?
I mean, Australia's always a cool one. I mean, I've got a lot of friends in Australia in the scene, and that hardcore scene, especially in Melbourne. Melbourne's that scene seems pretty
the hot
sick.
spot, eh?
Yeah. Be cool to be able to venture out to there.
Can't avoid saying that you did try to get to Australia with a band unnamed.
Yeah.
But how would you get there? Well, I would say that you would do the same. You would do the same thing. You'd do like a tour swap. Yeah. So let's say that tour went through. What, you guys were going to head to Australia with them?
Yeah.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
Yeah. How many shows?
I think it's going to be at least the East Coast run.
Yeah.
A couple.
I think that was the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Australia is massive, Australia's still only like for like a basic kind of thing is like a weekender, usually like a long weekender. Or if you tie it together, you've got Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. So it goes your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. And then you've got those are all like sunrise till sunset drives or flights.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's like so hard to understand when you're used to just like driving down to Hamilton,
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then Australia is just flipping how many hours between cities,
Sunrise till sunset, bro. Sunrise till sunset are the drives.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
My mate, shout out Deaf Chris. He recently did the drive for Heaven's Gate on their tour, and he said he apparently like had no sleep because he was shooting the shows on for them as well.
Jeez.
During the thing, and he said he was pretty wrecked afterwards. So I'm just like I just can't believe like I couldn't do that. But I mean, I would have done Wellington, but that's all we have. It's like Auckland, Wellington, and it's like
Have you guys been to the South Island?
Yeah, we did the South Island, but we flew it all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which was a different
flew
vibe.
Dunedin to Christchurch.
Yep.
Yeah. Where did you play in Dunedin? Please tell me the Crown Hotel.
Might have been.
Well, I wasn't there. I had to work, so we had to fill in for that
we had to fill in. Shout out Andy.
Was it that little multi-level pub and the bars in the middle, and then you go up to the stairs, and he's got like a little stage?
I think so.
I think
it might have been that
one.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like a weird like ramp part in the middle of the venue.
Yeah,
where it goes down into
Yep.
it. Yeah.
But
we
the
played
stage
that.
is at the top.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We played that on the last New Zealand run too.
Yeah.
And he, how venues got the whole lot of the COVID support money. Yeah. So we turned up and he's got this like little pub, like the size of this lounge, and he's got like a $20,000 PA.
Yeah.
And he's like so psyched on it, the owner, and he's showing me like, yeah, this is awesome. Does this and then like, bro, it was so loud.
Yeah.
So loud.
Unnecessarily loud. Yeah. Jeez.
But there's not much of a scene there. That might have been like a 40-ish payer.
Yeah.
Gig.
We managed to go. It was just a timing thing. We ended up down there outside of like the uni time. So yeah, there was no one.
We were outside the uni time too.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend it, eh?
Nah, wouldn't recommend it. Well, I to be fair, everyone says that about like the uni students or whatever, but I don't reckon if the uni was on that uni kids would turn up anyway.
I know. Big call.
They got all their D&B down there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone that's like super that young that's like into it. And then someone with enough money, because if you're going to go down there, you got like a little bit of a higher ticket price, right?
Yeah.
And then New Zealand is like notoriously frugal on anything with a 2 in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You guys reckon your music's worth something, do you?
Yeah. Nah, sometimes I second guess whether we pick the right genre, eh? But I mean, I flip and love it, but like you're not in it to
pay
make
to
money.
play, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't want your parents to watch this. They think that they're like, because you know how like all family members think like everything you're doing is like real awesome.
Yeah.
No one's
100%.
got any idea that it costs you money to do this.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
But every time I see my granddad, he's like, "Is the band making money?" And I'm like, "Nah." Nah.
Oh, that's the same thing from my dad. Shout out, Dad, one day. Oh, dude. So let's go. Favorite top 3 Top 3 NZ releases from bands that aren't currently playing.
Ooh, that aren't currently playing.
Ooh.
Basically, the most influential ones. Maybe like I remember when I got the CD. Remember when I got the CD for that Chase album with that kid on the front of it, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Haven't heard it in 15 years. Wouldn't listen to it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
But at the time, it was all good.
True. Is Saving Grace like still current? Are they still?
Still going.
If it was
still
an
going?
old album, yeah. An old album.
I remember, bro. I got Unbreakable, the album for like my birthday from my mate, and that was a flipping game changer. That one was in the CD player, buddy, every night, mate, with the old headphones on.
True.
Unbreakable.
The Summer of Hardcore set, I did the little guesties to that.
Man.
I think it was just the Faith Family Forever.
Yeah.
Just
Classic.
so me to sing that bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a hardcore one because my metalcore roots back in the day are still.
No. We're in New Zealand, bro. Metalcore and hardcore is the same thing.
They are still. I mean, I'm jamming a lot. Still Addison's. Well, it's Only a Matter of Time. EP. I think that's the name of it.
Okay.
That was like a pretty. I mean, they were probably gonna, once they dropped that, they kind of blown up. I think they're gonna go tour the States, and then they just called it quits after the EP. Yeah, they were like actually got a bit of traction for them. That's like
Is this like MySpace days?
2008, I think, came out the EP.
Oosh.
Back in the day.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2010. I just remember in high school, someone older than me introduced it to me, and I was like, "This is sick," and just thrashed them. So, yeah.
Were they playing at the time, and you never saw them live?
No, I never saw them live. They then did a reunion show at Xile, but then I couldn't make it, and I was gutted.
Oh, dude.
So, yeah.
A similar thing happened to me. A BMXer gave me the Evil Priest.
Oh, yeah.
Evil Priest Hardcore Gods 2, or whichever one, and I was listening to it. No idea that they were playing, or that they were even a New Zealand band. Yeah. And he must have given it to me and said something about it. Maybe I was just not listening and young or whatever, just not paying attention. But he was just like an older kid, and I was listening to that album that whole time while they were playing. And then when I got into it, or like went to like my first show or scene or whatever, they were like, they had just like kind of stopped playing. So
jeez,
another one. I mean, because I listened to it earlier this week, but Ricky Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Listen to that. I can't remember what the album name was again, but yeah, that's another one. Just like going through the hardcore bands back in the day, and just it's like it'd been sick to see some of those bands back in the day.
Yeah.
You wonder how good they were back in the day. Surely good enough.
I still remember memories of seeing Too Late back in the day.
Oh yeah.
True.
The days of Jeremy, Steve, Richie on bass. I don't know if Mike Shaw was always the original drummer. I'm not sure.
I still like Too Late because Edgy Me loved the album artwork with the noose on the front.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
Oh, with the camo logo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Classic. And like a bit of a full circle moment. Like I was a massive fan of East of Eden back in the day, and it's cool because on this EP that we're about to drop, it's got Hugh on a song, who was the vocalist for East of Eden. So bit of a full circle moment there. He's he goes by Masbo Q now, and he's a rapper that's flipping killing it. He's bit of a genre swap, but yeah, he's flipping killing it. So good. And April plays for his live band.
Oh, so I've seen her posted stories of that then.
I've seen that
online. Yeah. All right. Wow. So that's like a
definitely.
a little community moment of you can do this for me. And him as a rapper playing with like live instruments.
It's pretty tight.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Some pendulum shit, eh?
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, boys. Pick me a favorite New Zealand hardcore moment. Starting with you, Ethan.
I think it's still, maybe biased because we played it, but I can't remember the name of the show, but when we went down in Wellington, the house show we played.
Oh yeah, at Hamish's house.
Hamish's house. So it was End of an Empire, us, Cold War, Happy Valley, and Severed Beliefs, and that just went. Cold War set went nuts. Big Ferg, side to side swinging legs. I think I copped one on the stomach.
Oh yeah.
But man, that was like We played Wellington, I think, once or twice before that, but it was just such a fun show. Just the house show in Wellington was so fun.
Up in the hills, and the floors like bouncing with everyone.
The walls all had sweat on it afterwards. It was toasty in there, but it was such a good time.
Oh, so this is one of the Happy Valley house shows.
Yeah,
the ones that I've never been to, but okay, Oh, so they were awesome.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
That's cool. It was,
and then like all our gear was just like in someone's bedroom, mate.
Yeah.
Like that was backstage.
Like knock
was
on
just
the door
like,
to get it. Hey, guys, grab my hand.
That was like so fun. I mean, there was just a bunch of Wellington bands that I personally really enjoyed, and to be able to play alongside them was just awesome. So yeah.
Nice. What about you, Jared?
One of my favourite memories in the New Zealand hardcore scene features our mate Luke Finlay, who does our mastering. This was way back in like the East Auckland, when East Auckland like heavy scene was real big. So this was at Pakuranga Rec Centre, and it was like, I can't even remember the name of the band. They used to have like 2 vocalists. Do you remember that band, bro?
The Witness?
The Witness. Do you remember The Witness?
Nah, that band End of Days just popped into my mind.
Oh, yeah.
But, The Witness? Nah.
The Witness, bro. That's
no Witness for
that's
me,
a throwback. They were playing, and our bro Luke went to the front. He's got long hair, and he starts like whipping his hair around. And then, like, I don't know, the blood rush or whatever, he just gets dizzy, bro. Loses his balance, and he just like falls, and he's like tripoding with his head on the ground, and he got stuck there, bro, because he was so dizzy. And then like the photographer who was like taking shows of the whole night is just like, and it's like one of my favorite photos, eh? He's just like, there's a band playing and he's just stuck on his forehead, but with like his ass in the air. It's so flipping funny.
You're gonna have to send me that photo, because a couple people come on the pod, namely the guys from Luca and Brainwave, saying someone about doing a backflip and about having footage of it, and then when I went to go edit the video and ask for footage of it, no one had the footage of it. So if you've got that photo, then I'll post it out here.
Perfect.
Funny memory come to mind. I don't know if you were at the Alan Melville Acacia Strain show.
Oh, I wish I was. I wish I was back.
So there was one that was real dry in like, I think like 2016 or something, and I even missed because I was away in Australia, but there was a really early on one, like 2008, somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
And that's when like there was, people were still around, there was like really hard moshes, and it was just kind of like when it's kind of like when you're at the skate park and you turn up to the skate park and all the older riders have like their little go, and then like you can, old mate, he's resting, and being my turn, like the Groms will go. This was the same in the pit back then, like all the big boys would like mosh, and then when that's not happening, or maybe not even in a mosh pit, the Groms would just mosh because like there was no worry about it. And I remember being at the gig and the Acacia Strain starts playing, and there was these 2 menaces. It's like called like the MPC, the mosh pit crew. And it was this dude Michael Moraney and Danny Spanners and his mates, and they would just like crowd slay. Like people would be so annoyed at them today. They'd get up on the internet and everything, but they'd like fully like run, then cartwheel, hands, and then so like legs would hit people in the crowd like first, and then because we'd turn up as emos to the shows, but we wanted to mosh, we'd also get like directly targeted by these guys. So I just remember just being like, because Acacia Strain was one of my favorite bands, you know, we were like medium Grom level. We weren't like the entry level Groms, but we were definitely under the older kid of Groms. So like, you know, you wanted to be there and you could mosh if you know you wanted to, but you had to put up with guys like targeting you like on purpose. You had to like put up with it, you know. And I think because you're young, you know, like things don't hurt as much, and you know that like you know, tomorrow I've got nowhere to be, so it's you kind of, you're not too worried about it. It's not these days where
reminds me of as well when my pop punk side, when the Destroy So Far played at Alan Melville Hall, but Looking Up opened. You had these because at always gig you had these teenage girls at the front really keen to hear some pop punk, and then Looking Up starts, and you get these guys like jumping over onto stage for like mic grabs and stuff, and these girls just like terrified, like what is happening.
Yeah.
It's funny, the crowds don't really mix, eh?
Yeah, that was wild.
One of this, I think the reason that hardcore bands also don't get ahead so much online and don't look that great online is because when someone takes a photo of your show, it looks like there's nobody there. Because the whole front is like mosh pit reserved. Like if you're like a regular person listening to this is why hardcore shows look so shit, maybe in New Zealand. It's because people are all around the sides, and then there's people are dancing and things. You don't have that like buffer of people up the front to get that like good photo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was like, I mean, we had the privilege of opening for what were they
Sick
called?
of It All.
Sick of It All, jeez. We had the privilege of opening for Sick of It All. Nailed it.
You're really good mates in a band you really
yeah,
like called
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, and we had the semicircle of death, you know, like just no
Horseshoe.
one. Yeah. And it was just like, you know, we were the first band on, so like I get it, but it's like, as you're saying, the photos of us, it just kind of like looks like we were just having a band practice, you know. Just some fancy lights on, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be especially brutal in like New Zealand. Like I've done plenty of, especially in Xile. I mean, a lot of these posters up here, antagonists at least had like the space after the opener. I remember playing a lot of shows where we were like after the opener, so the crowd would be a little bit more receptive.
Yeah.
But a lot of these Xile tours, like starting a band from new, like definitely played a few tours like opening. Yeah, that's definitely like an art. It's also an art for you to get used to. So like, it's not that the people at the show aren't enjoying it. There's probably a lot of people. I mean, realistically, people have come for like the headline band, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to think like, okay, these people actually don't take it personally. These people actually don't not like you. They just like either like don't know you or like they weren't expecting you or maybe, you know, there's lots of mixed bills. Like no one was expecting some Euro style beatdown to start their night off. Do you know what I mean? I'm here to see blah blah blah, not this.
So when we played the South Island and they'd never heard of hardcore before, they're only expecting the flipping blast beats, but bit of a laugh.
You need to not take that like particular thing personally, because that person, those people might be up the front for like the second show. All they needed was that first show to see
100%.
you and then find you and get into you. Do you know what I mean? And they'll be there for the next one. But if you're up there telling everyone that they suck and the show sucks and blah blah blah, like that person who thought you were okay, you know, just okay, and I'll check them out next time. Is definitely not coming next time.
100%.
So it's
like when we played in Christchurch, like I don't think anyone moved during our set at all, and that's rough. You know, when you're playing and it's just like, oh, cool, everyone hates us. You know, like that's the feeling you get. But we sold the most CDs we've ever sold that night. You know, and it's like people were like keen on our music. They just didn't know our sound. You know, they weren't used to not blast beats.
Is it like a lesson in like humility? Is it like
100%?
It's especially hard being a vocalist too, because like, you know, especially if you're a drummer, you could just like hang back and be like probably just like laughing at everyone. And if you're a guitarist in between songs, you don't have to weather that storm of awkwardness. You can turn your back and tune. Fuck, if you're the vocalist, bro, and it's stink, it's like extra stink. You know what I mean?
Everyone having a good night.
Everyone having make some noise.
Learn a bit of that as well when we've played Festival 1, because that's a mixed genre festival. And we've been like one of the only kind of bands of our genre there. And like, I think the first time we played, we're like, what's it going to be like? And then I think it was what year was it? Before they moved from Mystery Creek to elsewhere, we played like the big indoor stage. And I think we played one of the evenings. And like so many kids came out and moshed and went hard for us. Then the second show of that festival, you called for a wall of death, and it happened. We were like, "How's this happening?" There's just
it was so funny.
Kids.
We're just building up to a breakdown, and I just went like this, and like the whole crowd just flipping split, and I was like, "Oh,
That was the first wall of death happened for us by accident in China while doing the same thing. I just did the classic side to side, you know, like.
True. They know
like,
a thing or two about walls as well. Yeah,
definitely. Well, this was actually in Wuhan, funnily enough.
True.
The Chinese hardcore festival in Wuhan. And I was just like, you know, side to side. And they all kind of like lined up against the side of the walls. And then we're like waiting for the go. And I was just like, go. But I think Wall of Death are quite common. You see like
Yeah.
see like rappers and stuff doing them.
True.
I saw that video resurfaced of Alf Wolf's one when they were at
Lamb of God.
Lamb of God's one.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said go and no one went.
And no one went.
Oh no!
I like how they turned that into a viral moment though.
Yeah.
Like they just turned it into a joke, and then they all like the alpha guys posted, and they were like, "Look how shit this was."
You gotta
good
laugh
kids.
that way. Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, imagine. Yeah, it's worse than trying to keep that a secret because it's it's going to make it to some troll. It's going to make it to some hater's account where someone's going to say, "Hey, look, these guys suck. The crowd hates them or whatever," and then you're posting that because you're looking for a little reaction from the band. Then you go to the band's thing and they're like, they've already taken the mick out of themselves. And you're like, oh well. I suppose I'll find the next guy whose feelings can be easily hurt and I'll target him.
Yeah.
So normies were going hard at this Festival 1.
Our slick turnout at Festival 1. We played. They put us on like a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and everyone was indoor shouting away from the sun. And there was some like indie band that played before us. And then we sound check, and Jared just, you let her rip. Jared was like, let's go, what's up, we're Amanaki, and just shouting into the mic. You just see these people get up and leave. Because they were like, they didn't want, they just were in there to get out of the hot sun. And then we started playing, they're like, ooh, not for me.
Yeah. Gotta love it, eh?
But
hey, they take us back every year. Thank you very much.
Oh, dope.
So good.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool having funny experiences like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's all you can really take away from the things that we do are like the little funny things, because like you only spend 20 minutes on stage. 30 minutes on stage versus like, you know, however long it takes to travel and however much money you've spent, and then like the actual bit of the thing that you're there to do is like less than 1% of your time spent getting there, leaving, blah blah blah.
Bro, the funniest one, we got asked to play at this youth group event, and we were told, bro, it was this youth group like out on kind of like on the coast,
Kawakawa
Bay, and we were told like, oh, it's kind of rough for kids out there, you know.
Okay.
And we were like, so that's why they were like, oh, we'll get a hardcore band to come out and like play this like big event that they're putting on. Yeah, bro. So we thought it was all going to be like 16, 17, 18-year-olds, you know, where like they would, you know, have that mentality of like, oh yeah, I kind of want to let loose and, you know, move around or something like that. But we show up and it's like the average age is probably 12 years old, eh? And we like on the spot have to make this like change in our heads of like how we approach this, and all of a sudden it's not like, yeah, we're Amanaki. It was like, hi guys, we're Amanaki. You know?
I think you like just said every word, and then it was as at the very end breakdown, you let rip and just went and like guttles almost. Yeah,
the whole like presented like Barney or something.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Hi guys.
Yeah,
or, like,
it was like that the whole flipping gig except for like the last breakdown, and I like absolutely let rip. Bro, the kids were like breakdancing like while we were playing. It was so never again.
Sometimes I wonder that if like a music award or like someone had asked Xile to play like a regular event, I probably wouldn't scream on it. I just like, because the music is enough. Oh no, like your regular outdoor festival where there's regular bands playing. Because it seems that people can get into the music, but people really hate the vocals. And then like even some people appreciate like the musicianship. They could be like, oh, didn't know you could play guitar like that. But bro, as soon as people hear the vocals, they're out. You know, most people are out. They're like, 100%, too much.
The whole comments on Reddit about Knock Loose when they popped off, it's like people were like, can't stand the vocals. Just like that.
Look at them now.
Yeah, look at them now.
Yeah, look at them now. Well, and then like you've got the other end of the spectrum with like Will Ramos making like animal noises, and then all of a sudden everyone's like real hyped on that.
So wild.
I watched a YouTube of him the other day, and he's like into drifting and stuff.
Oh, true.
Yeah, he's got like a 370Z, and he's out there drifting with like American crew.
Wow, crazy.
But his band looks pretty loose. Like they're all like drinking and like, you know, like classic like paper cut, like
the red solo cups.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I don't know. Just you just don't see people like unless they're American or in movies like drinking out of like a ping pong cup.
Yeah.
It's just weird stuff like that. You don't see like that often. What have you guys been listening to recently that's been popping off? Give the listeners some recommendations. Actually, if anyone knows, bro, it's you. If anyone follows you on the internet, maybe you could just describe.
Music.
Do you like schedule posts of like? How do you find out about? Do you just stay up to like 12 at midnight and then like
on Thursday nights, to do my new music Friday. I think the Spotify playlist is like over 900 followers now.
No way.
That's just from doing it for so many years and just posting about it.
Yeah.
It's still nuts when I like don't, if I'm busy at work or don't post, people are like, is he all good? I haven't heard from him. And it's like, oh jeez,
I don't know what to listen to now.
It's just like from just kind of seeing Facebook posts. Like I'll be scrolling through like each day, and if someone's like post a teaser, I'll just screenshot it, get in my head, and then it's just for what bands I follow on Spotify on my streaming services, and then like labels I follow, like there's band like labels like Triple B and Closed Casket, Days is another one, DAZE,
Days of Futures Past.
Yeah. So it's like lots of those kind of labels I always keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I still laugh. There's some days like I'll post the new music Friday playlist, and then I'll go back and listen to some of my old music. Don't even listen to the new stuff straight away.
Yeah.
But now I've been thrashing. Goes between there's bands like Gridiron, Tsunami, Gulch, Big Boy. I think Missing Link. I think that's the name of the band.
I've heard the name, but I haven't listened to them yet.
They put out a new album recently, and it's sick. I have mates in the Australian scene, so I'm always paying attention to what's happening in Australia as well. So like bands like Starve, Volatile Ways, Terminal Sleep. I'm trying to think of some other hardcore bands, but yeah, they're popping off at the moment recently, those ones. So
we played with Starve for the first time a couple weekends ago in Sydney. That was my first time seeing them.
That's right, yeah.
Man.
So Todd used to drum for them, who's the drummer of Terminal Sleep, used to drum for them, but Alicio from Hammer Time 2, he's a guitarist, so he's a Kiwi in that band.
Yeah.
So I hung out with them, that was pretty cool. What about you, Jared? What have you been listening to?
Just a constant stream of Limp Bizkit.
What album? What era?
Nah, bro, just like across the board, eh?
Oh, okay. Is it good across the board?
Nah.
Yeah.
No. You basically take like a song or two as you go through, and the rest of it's rubbish. But Nah. Listen to them. I listen to a lot of Straight from the Path. A lot of Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. This guy's like totally into all the new music, and I'm just like stuck in the old music, eh?
There was a time where I just like wouldn't stop listening to Carpathian, Nothing to Lose.
Yeah.
I just feel like new music would be coming out, and I'd be like, nah, just listen to this.
Meanwhile, there's new music that band Big Truck.
I saw Jay I saw the Soulwood guys posting and tagging them each other in the Big Truck, but it's not Big Truck's not Coal Chamber, is it? Big Truck, me loco. Big, yeah, they've got a song called Big Truck.
Oh, true.
Is Big Truck different than Coal Chamber, me loco, Big Truck?
Must be. I think it was like, it's just like an EP, and they got songs on there, like one called Big Ass Truck.
Is this a hardcore band?
Yeah, it's a hardcore band.
Okay.
I think it's I'm getting the name. I'm pretty sure it's Big Truck, or it's Big Truck or Big Ass Truck.
Do you want to give it a go?
Yeah.
Big Ass Truck. That's how it goes.
Jeez. It's real music.
Yep.
Oh, fuck it now.
I mean, it's just caveman rough experience, but it's always fun.
Yeah.
We're just putting too much thought into our music, eh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who knew? You could just talk about trucks, bro.
Let's see. Well, what have I been listening to? I've been listening to Death Row from Brisbane. They got a new...
Oh, yeah. They're good.
Have you checked them out?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the hit. So they've known them for a long time when they used to be called Gut Knife.
Oh, yeah.
And he's kind of changed up his his vocal style to just like rapping, kind of like drill beat, like rapping over like beat down. Mm. So it's Death Row 214 and the 4215.
Yeah, that's right. That EP that dropped.
Yeah, that's a sick EP. What else has been on my regulars? I listen to lots of podcasts, bro, like Hard Law.
Good podcast.
And then the Downbeat.
Yeah.
Downbeat. And then Gaza podcast as well. Listen to like a lot of fighter pilot podcasts too.
Oh, true.
F-14 pilots.
Oh, yeah?
So like, you know, like the nostalgia of like the F-14 guys from like Tomcats.
Yeah.
Listen to them and like the missions that they went on and like deploying on aircraft carriers and shit.
Cheers.
Fucking dope.
Man.
Well, I'm not sure that we can pull that camera back because that one there, does that say memory card full?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'll just make sure this one's on and then your guys' headshots on.
The camera just...
Oh! What, do you see what it said?
Nah, bro, I cannot read that from here.
Fuck!
Are we just going to squeeze up in that shot, bro?
Yes, let's do it. This is the only one that's going. Oh, this goes wider.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, easy. Give me a bit more.
Alright, so with any... Oh, we in the centre? You need to move. Get in the centre so at least the frame shot looks... There we go. So with any new podcast, we have our teething problems, and this is one of them. So now we're all in the same camera because my other cameras, one of them's got a small SD card and it's full, and then the other one, it comes up with a warning message, but we always catch it too late to read it. So I've got no idea what's happening with that one. Thanks for coming on the podcast, boys. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. Embers, your new EP is coming out July 19th. Awesome. Is that going to come out in physical form?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Digital's all that matters anyway.
Yeah.
Or any CDs.
Tapes.
Hell.
Cassettes.
Yeah.
No.
Cassette. I want a cassette tape just because it just looks like I'm missing out. Everyone else got a bloody cassette.
Yeah.
I just want a cassette because everyone else has got a cassette.
Exactly.
I've got nothing good for. I've got like a whole lot of records back there of like limited edition colorways that I've asked for from people in bands that, you know, that they're not giving to like regular people, and I don't even have a bloody record player.
Classic.
Like, so I just want it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, and then release shows to be TBA.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
Where can people check you out?
It's on Instagram, and on the old Facebook, Spotify. All of them are just Amanaki. Boom.
TikTok. We have a TikTok.
Oh, true.
Do you?
Yeah.
How's your growth been going on TikTok? Mine's so hit and miss, man.
Yeah. I think I'm too old for it, I think that's my problem.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's happening on the TikToks.
I reckon, you know how they talk about like it's stealing information from you? I reckon it has access to your front camera and it sees that you're like 30 plus and it's just like, nah.
Classic.
Oh, dudes. All right, boys. Thanks for joining me on the Kiwistyle podcast. It's been fucking awesome talking to you guys and getting to know Amanaki and you two heap better. And look out for these guys' new EP, Embers.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Just having us.
All right. And that's the end of part 2 with Amanaki. It was awesome to sit down with Jared and Ethan, learn a little bit more about Amanaki and those dudes, talk about their EP Embers and how they got it written and recorded. They also told me that they got a lot of good feedback on their part 1, so it's awesome that you guys are getting some value out of this. If you want to leave a comment below for the Amanaki guys, I can pass that on. And thanks for checking out the Kiwistyle podcast. If you want to support the channel, I've only got t-shirts to sell. You can support the channel by picking up some Xile t-shirts. With every order, I'll throw in a free sticker pack. There's like 10 dope stickers in there. If you listen to this on Spotify, give it a rating. If you listen to it on Apple Podcasts, give it a rating. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. I want to see some activation down there in the comments. And sweet dreams from Grafton City. I see you next time on the Kiwistyle podcast. Was he wearing pants or wasn't he wearing pants?
And I can kick a hamster.